So welcome back. This is the digital oscilloscope hooked up, and I'm going to demonstrate AM again. Alright, so there's AM. Of course, it's picking up my voice a little bit. I'm going to talk right into the microphone. You can actually see the waveform jumping up and down. Notice that this is the nice thing about the digital oscilloscopes, is that it gives you a frequency reading right here. It's got a frequency counter on it. There's my frequency right there. Notice it's not changing, right? That's right at 1.9 megahertz. And let me show you sideband. Okay, so there's sideband right there. And what you're going to see when I talk into this is the frequency is going to deviate from this 1.9 megahertz. Let me put in a solid tone. You notice it was 1.89 megahertz. And when I get to a higher tone, that frequency is going to change. And you can see the frequency going up and down, and that's due to the modulation. Okay, so that's sideband right there. So let's go back to the AM real quick. And the AM, you can see that there's a constant carrier there. That's not going to move. And then when we put it on sideband, as soon as we start modulating it, it's going to move that carrier up and down. That sideband, I should really say sideband instead of carrier. It's going to move that up and down depending on the bandwidth of the sideband. So this is going to vary up and down by about 2.5 kilohertz to 2.8 kilohertz, depending on how your radio's set up. And when I talk into there, you can see when I stop talking, there's no sideband. So it's absolutely dead. So that's what makes it very efficient. That's not actually emitting any RF when you're not talking. Yeah. So and when you talk, it just relies on the peaks of your modulation. Now again, if you overmodulate sideband, let's turn up my mic gain all the way up. It doesn't. It's not as messy. It doesn't splatter as much. So it does pretty good when you turn up the modulation a little bit too much. You're going to hear on the other side, a little bit of distortion, but not as bad as the AM. The AM, when you overmodulate it, it really creates havoc on the band. So that's the so you can see the difference between AM and single sideband. And I hope that answers your question on what the waveform looks like and the difference between AM and single sideband. And hopefully I'll talk to you again.